welcome to the channel. My name is Tia. I am an intuitive empath, a psychic medium, an energetic healer. I channel the violet flame of healing. I am also on the twin flame journey and recently discovered I am an angelic human. Yeah, I offer that as a brief introduction. Some of my understanding of self is a little new, and some of it I've come across on my pathway over the last few years. So, but for those of you that are new to the channel, I offer that just as a brief intro into who I am. I bring my gifts to YouTube here on this platform to assist other people along their pathways. It's part of my soul work, my mission work here in the physical dimension at this time. So I really hope that these messages are helpful for you. If you are returning, then welcome back. Glad to be back. I have been away for a couple of months. I took a departure from social media to really do some of my own work and balancing, clearing. There's been a lot of energies coming into the earth grid over the last couple of months with what's been happening in the world. There's been a lot of adjustment and transition and chaos and confusion. And as an empath, I'm very sensitive to those energies. So I took some time to really work with them and release them where necessary. Yada, yada, I'm rambling. But I offer that as an explanation for why I've been gone for so long, but I'm happy to be back. I'm going to be doing a lot more readings now that there's balance and stability in my field, and I found my footing in this current situation. So let's jump into the reading. This is for Scorpio. I wanted to share that I did feel right before, as I was saying my little prayer before I begin each reading, I felt the divine feminine come in very strongly and just provide a lot of strong grounding feminine energy into the reading. I did see this really beautiful burgundy color and felt intuitively that the divine feminine was bringing in some energy to help balance the root chakra. So there may be some of you that have root chakra work, balancing and clearing that you need to do. So just wanted to share that right away. It's a good time to do it. Just had the new moon in Gemini, new phases, and full moons, new moons, all that. It's such powerful, energetic times here on the planet that we get to take advantage of. Energetically, spiritually, we can use those times to let go and release and set intentions. So definitely look into some root chakra clearing and balancing. I'm getting that first message for you, Scorpio. All right, let's see where the overall energies are. Page of Wands, the Emperor, and the Ace of Swords. Woo! Wow! Super strong, powerful energy coming in to start, Scorpio. You're in a place where you're feeling very confident. You're feeling very in your power. You're speaking your truth. You're in a very authentic place. I am getting, you're being looked to. You're being looked to. Others are looking to you for leadership. I am getting a strong spiritual energy coming through with the Page of Wands. Really speaking an ancient divine wisdom. I am getting, it may not necessarily be spiritual per se, but you are embodying a very highly evolved divine essence here in the earth plane, and how you conduct yourself. The Page of Wands is the the relayer of messages, the go-between, the liaison, right, between the king that he represents and the people he is communing with on behalf of the king. And so I am getting that you are a powerful, that's also indicated here with the Emperor card. You are a powerful spiritual master here in the earth plane, and that you are here to speak your truth and speak your wisdom, and from your perspective and your heart, you're sharing your experiences of life on this reality, and that is part of your purpose here. Wow. Okay, let's get more. All right, I'm being called to clarify. It's not how I've been doing these other readings with another deck. So let me do that. They want me to pull from this deck to clarify. So Page of Wands. Clarify that Page of Wands. Give us more information, Spirit, about this energy. Definitely very confident, very, very secure in oneself, you're feeling. Self card in reverse. The Two of Air. And the Nine of Air. 10 of Air. Okay. So funny, right? That the Self card comes out in reverse just after I say that you're in a really balanced, confident place, right? But I am, these are the overall energies underlying this Page of Wands, which I feel is really about speaking your wisdom, your true self, really about communicating yourself as a divine being. I am getting, Scorpio, like you are a spiritual master. You are a spiritual teacher. And perhaps this may be something about yourself you've never considered. Maybe you definitely are someone, it's just in your coding, it's in your field. You may be a teacher, you may be a counselor already, you may be someone who's always held positions of leadership and guidance for others. That's just part of your makeup. And this is really coming in to say, like, you're meant to be really a lot more. You're meant to speak and guide people along their spiritual pathways. So I think this is first and foremost an indication that you are going to be expanding into a whole new realm, a whole new paradigm, a whole new way of thinking about how it is you speak your truth, what your truth is, and how you support others, and also discovering their authentic truths. This Self card in reverse I'm getting may be just that you don't see that about yourself. I am getting for some of you that maybe this isn't how you've ever perceived yourself as being a spiritual master, a divine healer, a divine guide for others. But the Self card is really about body, mind, and spirit. And that may be part of why I was feeling that divine feminine energy coming in. You know, maybe there's a need for you to nurture and love and accept and just allow the possibility that you are something greater than what you've been led to believe. You know, we all have been. We are divine, limitless, eternal beings having temporary human experiences in these shells, in these physical forms. But we're infinite. We're eternal. We're limitless. We've been here many times before. We've been other places. We are limitless. We're powerful manifestors. There's so much more to humanity than we have been taught. And so I am getting that with the Self card. It's just not something you've really entertained. And then, you know, there is a lot of air energy here. The Two of Air, and air can be about our thoughts, certainly, but also about our spirituality, you know. And the Two of Air here is really about, you have an ability to see both sides of things. Let me, because I'm getting a couple threads and they're both coming in at the same time. Spirit, one at a time, please. Okay, I am getting a couple of threads. Let's start with the first one. So for some of you where you just don't see this, maybe spirituality is something that you've just always kept at a distance, or you're just completely unfamiliar with it. It's never been a part of your upbringing or your life. Maybe you have sort of an opinion about it being for the weak, I'm hearing, or just not something you've ever considered, right? Or kind of like wishy-washy, something of magic and folklore, that kind of thing, that kind of thinking I'm getting. With this two of air, you really kind of see things in sort of black or white, which tells me you may be really someone who approaches the world in a very sort of scientific way. There's facts and there's not. It's this or it's that, and it's yes or it's no. It's truth or it's fact. You are very you see the world through that polarized way. It's black or white with you. And that is that is a phase of evolution for humanity and for the planet that we are actually moving out of. We're not looking at duality anymore. We're not going to be experiencing this earth reality through relationships of duality. That's something that's shifting for the collective. We are moving into a time where we see the polarity of things, where there's more of an understanding of the nature of light and dark and how energy works, and that we are energetic beings that really operate on these energetic levels. So understanding the nature of light and the shadow and how they work together, right? Both parts have to exist to create the whole experience, right? And we experience that in our lives. There's light, there's dark, there's good, there's bad. So we've moved through that duality, but now we're moving into a place where there's just more of a different understanding. One does not negate the other. Both exist, and we're going to be better able to navigate life in the earth plane with this new understanding that everything happens exactly as it's supposed to, ultimately for our overall growth and development. And we are collectively evolving and moving from a 3rd dimensional reality to a 4 and 5 dimensional reality. And I encourage you to look that up to get more information about the Great Awakening and the ascension of humanity and planet Earth and all that lives here into the higher dimension of consciousness, which right now for this current time will be the 5th dimension. That's where we're moving. That's how we're evolving. We're evolving into a more spiritual species that's connected more to our spiritual selves, and that can yield and use the gifts that we inherently possess as spiritual beings. It does, so continuing along that thread, these are things that maybe you've turned your back on previously, right? It's just not something you've ever entertained in your thought space. But then I'm getting the other message, which is that for others of you, under this Page of Wands, this always having been that type of person, that you have a perspective where you see both sides of things, all sides of things. You already understand polarity versus duality and the benefits of looking at this world and experiencing this world more through a lens of polarity of experience rather than duality, rather than dualistic thinking. That's something that you already get, and that you have already sort of turned your back on what other people have prescribed as truth for you. What other people have told you is real and not real as far as the human experience goes. And then I'm getting, certainly for those of you that are in the previous message where you're in that dualistic thinking, you've never considered spirituality before, or yourself as a spiritual being or spiritual guide, and that is something that is going to be behind you. That is something that is coming to an end, that period of your life with no connection to your spirit. This is a disconnect between body, mind, and spirit. Okay. Wow, let's look at the Emperor here, Spirit. Tell us more about this Emperor card. Tell us more about the Emperor card. Positive, strong energy in the overall message. The Counselor in reverse, interesting. The I believe this is 6. Yeah, 6 of water in reverse. And the 10 of water. Let me check my deck. Let's check. Okay, I heard upright. Upright, upright, upright. Okay. So just so you're aware, I checked my deck to see if I was pulling them upside down. I couldn't. I may have been, though there are some look like that were reversed. But I always check in intuitively when in doubt with guides, and they'll energetically let me know. And I heard very clearly, turn them upright. So that's just a glimpse into how I read the energy. Okay, so yeah, so you're definitely someone who has the guidance counselor code built into you. That is part of who you are at your core essence. And I'm getting, again, that some people, that you've been in positions maybe where people are already doing this. They already look to you. You are a counselor maybe. You are a guide for others. You may be a teacher, that kind of thing. You may not. You may just be someone that people are always turning to. Maybe you find that people are always coming to you and telling you what happens to them because, they like your guidance. They like your suggestions. Maybe you're just very helpful. I am getting that you're a super compassionate, loving individual, and certainly you need to have that energy to be a really good guide that people want to come to. And yeah, a lot of compassion, a lot of nurturance, a lot of generosity of spirit here, Emperor. You're a really, really stellar, awesome, loving human being. And that makes sense because you're a spiritual masters. And spiritual masters incarnated into the human flesh are naturally just very compassionate, gentle, approachable. They carry a lot of unconditional love in their essence, in their energetic field. So that may be just, you've known this about yourself. This is who you've been your whole life. That's why you were drawn to this. That's why people are drawn to you. It's very balanced emotionally. You're in a really solid place. Really solid place. You're weathering the storms that we're going through right now. You're doing really well, all things considered. This 10 is indicative of a new cycle beginning, a new cycle of feeling. And it could suggest, that spiritual expansion that's coming in. The 10 of water for me is about using your feelings to manifest into the physical, which is how you do it. And that requires a balance between body, mind, and spirit. So this could be an indication of that next phase of development for you, that expansion into the divine. The Ace of Swords here also suggesting that. Let's pull some clarity for that, Spirit. The Ace of Swords, please tell us more. You're also the Ace of Swords is also telling me you're very balanced mentally. Again, body, mind, spirit, you're good in the earth plane. Mentally, you're very balanced. You know, that 9 of air also indicates that being balanced and self-mastery. 9s are about self-mastery. Oh, that's a 10. Sorry, my mistake. But it still indicates to me, you know, turning your back on what you've previously known, turning toward, airs are about, again, our spiritual connection, turning towards that. So you're very clear in your head space. All right, one more. Spirit, tell me more about this Ace of Swords here. I can never read the Romans upside down. 4 of air, the 5 of fire, and the union. Am I doing it again? Sorry, what is going on with this deck? I'm going to check them again. Okay, I'm getting... There's more resonance with it like that. Yeah, okay. So I was just pulling them upside down again. I apologize for that. But we do check. Okay. The Ace of Swords. Yep. You're very disciplined, very balanced in the earth plane. There is a suggestion here for you to also take action to carve out space and time to start creating spiritual routines, to create space and time for you to create. You know, through our creativity, that's one of the ways that we connect to our divine selves, through art, through dance, through, if you have a passion, a hobby that you love, maybe you haven't been able to devote enough attention to it, that may be one way for you to sort of dip your toe into the pool of spirituality. You know, to dust off your paintbrushes, and the suggestion is, you know, create that space, create that order in your life, to create the space and time to invest in this expansion that's coming in or that is already happening. The 5 of fire does indicate some conflict with others as you're moving into this new phase of understanding of the spiritual self. I am getting, for some of you, that conflict will really be internal. It'll be sort of, you know, if this is all very new to you and it's not something you've ever considered before, or if you're of the opinion it's a lot of hullabaloo, right? Then this is indicative of that internal conflict to take these actions to learn more about the spiritual self. But you do get there. This union card is telling me that you do come to a place of understanding your physical, the union between your physical self and your spiritual self. This union card is about the unification of the fractured parts of self, the light and that dualistic part, right? The light, the dark, the masculine, the feminine. It's understanding they're all parts of the same whole. So you do get there, but you won't get there maybe without a little bit of challenge and conflict. Part of this is, I'm also getting that the conflict might be about your ability to create space and time in your life to move in this new direction, right? Maybe you don't have the time. I am being drawn to this clock right now. You're hearing this and you're like, with what time? And maybe you're one of those very special persons that's been able to continue working through this shut-in. Or maybe, you know, you're like me, you have kids, and even with that, you're plenty busy. You know, maybe there's a lot of projects you've created for yourself now. For whatever it is, I am hearing that for something that I'm getting that resonating in my crown right now, that you just don't see how you could possibly take this on right now. Yeah, I am getting a lot more with this 5 of fire, that it's more of an internal conflict, less of conflict with others. For some of you, okay, I did get this. For some of you, there may be, as you're maybe moving more into exploration of your spiritual self, your divine connection, that that you may have a partner. This union card may be indicative of that too for some of you, that maybe you have a partner who is sort of thrown off by this sudden change in you, this sudden desire to seek spirituality and the divine, to work more. Maybe you maybe this is someone who's sort of shared your previous opinions about spirituality and the divine, and there may be some conflict in your partnership about this new shift for you. Let's get a little bit more about this, Spirit, which, thank you. We're going to pull from another deck for clarity, and we're going to start with this Five of Fire, get more insight into the conflict. Tell us more about this Five of Fire. And then we'll pull some guidance for you. Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. Yeah, I think I got some clarity here. So yes, like I was saying, the conflict is a lot more internal. It does come back to this with what time. You are very busy. The Eight of Pentacles does indicate that you work very hard. You have a lot on your plate. You're really focused on your work right now in the earth plane, whatever it is that you do. For money, professionally, the King of Pentacles here is indicative of success and abundance. You're really, really focused on building up your abundance here in the earth plane, getting to this King of Pentacles status. You're working on it. That's where a lot of your energy goes these days. And again, it may be in this role of the counselor and the role of the teacher, either way though, that's really where your focus is. And the conflict really is, how do I create this space? The message coming in here with the Six of Pentacles in reverse is really about you have plenty. The Six of Pentacles is really about abundance, about having enough to give away, about being charitable and generous with yourself in the earth plane. And that could be resources, it could be time, it could be attention, it could be recognition and acknowledgement. And it coming out in reverse tells me that you don't think that you have enough to give away. And I am getting the sense with this overall reading certainly has shown that Spirit disagrees, right? There is a force in this universe. There is an energy in the earth plane, a divine, limitless spiritual energy in the earth plane. And that is nudging you to trust that maybe things are not all you've thought them to be. Maybe they're more. You have more than enough. You have that time. Let's get some guidance for you. Oops. As I can continue with this one. Thanks, Spirit. Final guidance for Scorpio, Spirit. Final guidance for Scorpio. I'm running out of space here. Let me just, that way we can see them more clearly. Oh, this was here. I'm going to shuffle one more time because I don't know if I cut them. I think I did. All right. Final guidance. Knight of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands in reverse, the Death card, and the Hanged Man in reverse. Nope. We're going to take those exactly as they came out. final guidance is to understand that you have a gift, this ability to lead others, to guide others without even knowing them. You do guide people in a very spiritual way, and that this is a gift in the earth plane that you have been offered. This is something you're going to be defensive against. You're definitely going to struggle with accepting this truth of yourself, but know that it is the truth. Okay? And that your defensiveness is very surface. Like, I'm getting the sense that it is something that'll cycle out really quickly. And that you're kind of maybe even at the end of that cycle, that there is an energy of wanting. That Ace of Swords energy is pulling you. So I'm getting that this defensiveness, this resistance against all this is going to fall very quickly, is coming to an end, indicated here by this death cycle. They want you to know you're at the beginning of a new cycle. Everything that precedes that was part of the previous cycles, and those cycles are coming to an end. They are closing out so that you can move into a period of spirituality. The Hanged Man is about being balanced despite what is happening in the external world, because he knows he's a spiritual being and he's going to be all right. Going to take advantage of the opportunity to stretch himself out. No problem hanging upside down. The fact that it came up in reverse tells me that you're closing out that cycle of not believing yourself as a spiritual person. You know, that scientific maybe way of thinking, black and white, factual, yada yada, and that that you're, the way you view human experience and the earth and reality on this planet is really that's what's closing out. You're expanding beyond that. You're moving into a more spiritual time in your life. I'm feeling drawn to pull for this death card right here and see maybe if we get more about the cycles closing. Let's pull from this other deck. All right, Spirit, tell us more about the death. I'm also feeling to draw another card for the Hanged Man in reverse as well. So tell us about the death card first, Spirit. 2. I'm hearing 2. Okay. Sorry, I felt the need to shuffle those a little bit more. The Page of Swords and the 10 of Wands. Okay, so I'm getting that the cycles closing out, really have to do with a slightly less evolved way of thinking. And it's not to say that that thinking is wrong or bad or whatever. It has served you up into this moment, but you are a spiritual master and you're meant to move beyond that way of thinking. And that, the truth, I'm getting, it is going to shift and change. You are in a place of inertia. I am getting that. The fact that this Page of Swords is not moving anywhere. You are in a place of inertia and that's coming to a close. You're moving into a new cycle where you're, it's going to be it's going to create some worry, definitely. But 10s, again, are about the new cycles. And I feel like that worrisome energy about maybe taking this leap of faith, that also is coming to a close. See how these wands are sort of being cleanly tied up? And I'm getting right now that that is an indication of all those kind of loose thoughts, you know, worrisome energies being sort of neatly tied up. Tell me more about the Hanged Man here in reverse, Spirit. This was guidance for you. I think that the other thing as far as guidance goes is that Spirit would suggest, you know, the Hanged Man right here is in sort of a meditative state. For him to, let me turn it upright so you can see, for him to be balancing there upside down with this very content expression, this serenity, this poise, this balance, this grace, in order for him to do that, he needs to be in a meditative place. He needs to be in a place of surrender, quietness, stillness of mind and body. And so I think that one of the suggestions is to surrender to this truth as it's coming out, and to take some meditative actions, meditate, or do the things that help you meditate, because that will help to cultivate your connection to the divine. That's certainly how it began for me. Well, that's not entirely true. I had a connection to the divine. I always have. But my conscious connection began with meditation. Tell me more about this Hanged Man. The King of Swords and the Sun. Yeah, moving. It's about relying less on your mental energies, opening up more to the truth. You know, the divine language is the language of the heart. So the suggestion is to get out of your head. Yeah, get out of your head here with the King of Swords in reverse. You know, take those out, you know, meditative practices, surrender. The sun is really here to indicate, like, again, new cycles, but a cycle of happiness, of freedom, of joy, of abundance, and all the various ways that you can experience abundance in the earth plane. The guidance here is to know that you are a divine, abundant being. This is fire energy too. I am getting that for some of you. You know, that energy is with you, and it'll help to pull you into this new connection with Spirit, and to trust that you are cared for, you are loved, you are meant to be very abundant and fulfilled in this plane. All you need to do is surrender. I hope that these messages were helpful for you, Scorpio. If they were, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments. If you're interested in a personal reading, my information will be in the description box. Just let me know. Otherwise, I wish you so many blessings as you move forward in this super exciting time. For me, it was a very exhilarating time to be when I was just opening up to this truth of the divine human, the divine self, the greater truths of humanity and the earth. It was riveting, exhilarating, and I wish that for you as well. Hope to see you back here again soon. Until then, many blessings.